I'm going to cover the different sections of the Time Manager and just give you a brief outline of what each section is used for. So let me start, and I'm going to go through this in a different order to the way that the sections appear within the binder itself, because I think this is more relevant if I go through this in my order. So let me start with the first one, which is the goals section. This is where you'll put down what you want to achieve this year. You can separate your personal goals from your business goals. The goals section is probably one of the most important sections, because it's the basis on which you will make your decision as to what activities you want to focus on. So once you've got your goals nailed down, you can then decide whether or not an activity is helping you to come closer to achieving that particular goal. So it's a very useful decision-making database, or base, I should say, that you can come back to and review repeatedly. The other section is the key areas. So underneath this, there's some subsections. There's about 9, I think, 8 or 9 key areas. And what you do is you'll be grouping the activities that need to be completed within one of these key areas. It's just a way of grouping your activities into relevant groupings. The next section is your calendar section, and what you have within the calendar section, I really like this this aspect of the Time Manager, and that is you've got a weekly calendar. So at the end of each week, typically on a Sunday evening, you can plan the week ahead. And then you have a daily sheet for each day. So at the end of each evening, you can plan in some detail what you're going to do the following day. And also in the removable diary, the removable time planner, there's actually a monthly view as well. So you have your calendar with all the different, with the weekly and the daily views. Another section is your schedules, which are the recurring tasks. So this is essentially a timetable. And there's a daily one, and there's also another one that you can set up for monthly recurring tasks. Then you've got a don't forget section, and this replaces any loose scraps of paper. Things that you need to write down that you normally would write down either on the back of an envelope or a post-it note. One-off activities that don't require any follow-up, you can record in this section. And then finally, you've got the reference sections, which is made up of your notes, a telephone directory, and any reference information that you need to keep. So these are the 3 areas of the Time Manager. The first one answering the question of what should I do, what should I be spending my time on. The second section, when should I do the things that need to be done. And finally, an information reference section that you can refer to. Here's an example of what the goal sheet actually looks like in the Time Manager system. On the left-hand column, you've got what are called Daruma dolls. I understand this is a Japanese thing, where when you've set yourself a goal, you get these small Daruma dolls, and you fill in one eye of the Daruma doll, and you place it somewhere where you can see it on a daily basis. And it's there as a constant reminder that you have an unfinished business to do, that there is a goal that you've still got to achieve. And the idea is that once you've achieved the goal, you fill in the remaining eye to make the Daruma doll complete. So that's the concept here. You've got for each goal there's a Daruma doll, and the idea is that you colour in one of the eyes. There's space above each Daruma doll for you to put a little signature as a kind of a contract to yourself if you want to do that. I don't really go to that level of detail, but it's good to fill in at least one eye, and it kind of gives you straight away, it shows you as a reminder that you've got an unfinished task to do. In the space to the right of the Daruma doll, you actually write down the goal that you want to achieve. So let's say, as an example, you want to write a book. You could put that down. That's your statement, and the usual stuff about defining goals applies. They've got to be measurable, they've got to be achievable, and you've got to have some kind of time, some kind of deadline linked to that, to achieving that goal. You can put some more detail in the column next to that definition, the goal definition. And obviously you also got another column which has a clock symbol where you'd put down the actual date by which you want to achieve that goal. It doesn't have to be a specific, an exact date in a month. You can, I don't. I just put down the month and the year, and that's good enough for me. And then you can subdivide that goal into 3 sub-goals, if you like, that sit under that, that main goal that you've written down. So in the case of, let's say you wanted to write a book, you could put down, okay, I want to have an outline structure by a certain date, and then once I've got the outline structure, you could say, okay, I'll then issue a draft, and then once you've issued a draft, perhaps you'd want to maybe finalize the book based on feedback that you get, what feedback from the draft, and so you can put down these sub goals and have specific deadlines for each sub goal. And so there's space on one side for up to 6 goals, and then on the other side of this sheet there's actually another 6. So you can, if you want to split, you can have split it between personal and work-related goals. What I do is the objectives that are set for me at work, I put them down here as well, because we all have these kind of review sessions, or most of us who work for multinationals will have a goal-setting session, typically at the beginning of the year, and then your performance is reviewed either at 6 months or at the end of the year. So it's worth putting that down on one side. So this is essentially, so that's it really. I mean, this is the goal section, and then the key section then stems from your goals, and I'll cover that next. You can have up to 9 key areas, and each key area has a list. It groups all your activities. So as an example, you could have, I don't know, family as one key area. So all of your activities related to your family can be put in under that section. You could have household, things that need to be done around the house, repairs, stuff that you need to buy, I don't know, maintenance, that kind of stuff. And then business and work. I mean, I'd actually split the business up if needed into multiple sections. So depending on the type of job you have. But for the sake of this example, I'm just going to put down business, work. I think you get the idea. I mean, I also have a follow-up section, which is quite useful. So when I send out an email or make a call, requesting some information or requesting someone to carry out a particular task or carry out a particular activity, I then put a reminder in the follow-up section to kind of make sure that activity gets done, and then I can tick it off. So that's quite useful, and I've got, within the follow-up section, I've got stuff that I need to follow up on a personal basis, for personal stuff and work-related. Another section that I'd recommend is learning, where you can put in activities for things that you need to learn, both work-related and, if you have a particular hobby, let's say photography, you might want to learn how to do certain things in Lightroom, or take certain types of photographs or whatever. It's always worth putting that down and recording it as a separate activity. So that's the key area section. There's a light bulb item right at the bottom. If you're wondering what that is, that's a section for ideas that you have. So if you're wandering around and you suddenly come up with an idea, you can jot it down in that particular area. It doesn't, and then you can decide afterwards whether it needs to fit into a particular key area. Another thing you can do is have an incoming key area. So if you have an activity that you want to make a note of, but you're not quite sure which key area it should slot into, like the incoming or inbox key area could be a place where you note the activity initially, and then at a later stage you can move it into one of the other key areas.